So we all know BookTok. BookTok is a massive community that has risen from the app TIK-TOK that came predominantly during lockdown, and BookTok is a massive community of book lovers. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to see if these BookTok books were worth the hype. So I have picked out 4 books that are popular on TikTok to read and review just for you guys. So sit back, relax, and grab some snacks, and let's begin the video. Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Amy, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so excited for this video. I've been waiting to do it for such a long time. I will be reading TikTok popular books. I've seen quite a few booktubers do this. The only ones I can think of off the top of my head is Alexa and Haley. I love these YouTubers so much. They are so interesting, and I've seen them look at a range of TikTok books. I obviously have a few that maybe might be the same, but some of them are different. Sometimes you have a different combination, but I'm really excited. I haven't really done a book video like this. I've done book vlogs where I've just read one book, or I've done like a reading week of my life, but I haven't done like a proper reading video yet. So this is my first one, like first more creative one, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So I have 4 books. I have 2 fantasy and then 2 like more romance books or more drama books. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. So the first book I will be reading is Shatter Me. This is part of a series. There are 5 books I believe, and this is by TIK-TOK. I don't know if I'm saying this author's name right. I'm sorry, I am dyslexic, and how I pronounce stuff sometimes doesn't make sense. But I have been waiting to read this book for such a long time. It has been on my TBR for about 2 years now, and finally it was put on my TBR for this month. So this book features a girl. I don't know what her name is. It doesn't mention her name. Oh, it says Juliet. So this is based on a girl called Juliet, and it says here, a fragile teenage girl is held captive, locked in a cell by the re-establishment of harsh dictatorship in charge of a crumbling world. But Juliet is no ordinary teenager. One touch from her can kill. The re-establishment wants to use her as a weapon, but Juliet has other plans. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovered the strength to fight back and to find a future with one person she thought she lost forever. I've seen this book all over BookTok, constantly, all the time on my For You page, and one person that everyone talks about is Aaron. I think he's a character in this book called Aaron Warner, and everyone says he's the best book boyfriend. I'm excited that it's fantasy. I really enjoy fantasy movies, but I haven't really read the book, so I'm interested in that. Sometimes I feel like I might zone out when it comes to descriptive reading, because obviously fantasy usually does that. But I'm really excited to just try it out, see how I feel. And everyone said this is a really good book when you're trying to get into fantasy. I don't think it's a hardcore fantasy. And just the fact that it has romance as a subplot also sold me, because I don't think I could read any book without romance in it, because I just can't. I like the tension. Like, romance helps me relate to it. But yeah, this will be our first book. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Also follow my other socials down below in the description. Also follow other YouTubers that you might see in this video, because there's some YouTubers that I do mention, so follow those as well. I'll have those in the description. But yeah, let's start reading Shatter Me. So I am back. I hadn't read that much last night. I read obviously some during the day, but then I ended up having a nap because I was super tired. But I did get to chapter 15, and so far I am actually really enjoying this book. I really like the fact that it is in first person. I just feel a lot more like empathetic for Juliet rather than if it was in like third person. Especially with fantasy books, that in third person just makes them quite boring. Not much has happened so far, but I am enjoying it. People do say that it's not usually the first book that's amazing, it's the books afterwards. I'm really excited to continue reading it. I can probably get halfway today, I'm thinking. I don't really have much on today. I was supposed to be working, but I can't go to work because I need to go to the doctors to get an exemption for my holiday. So I will probably be doing some reading today. I need to order a few things on Amazon because I have all these prints here that I want to get on my wall, and I want to get it on this week before I go for my graduation next week, so I need to order some of those. But so far I'm really enjoying Shatter Me. I'm just going to be getting ready quickly, and I got a tea, as you guys saw. This tea is absolutely amazing. It is raspberry and lemon. So I am back. I have done my makeup. I just kept it really simple. I think I used about 5 different products. That was literally it. And now it is time to finish off Shatter Me. Going to see if I can read like another 100 pages of this. Nothing much has actually really happened yet. I'm hoping that it might speed up. Obviously there are other books as well, so I'm guessing like the first book is more like a pilot episode sort of thing. So I'm gonna read it and I'll be back to tell you guys my thoughts. Guys, I am back, and as you guys saw, I did some more reading in the afternoon. I read about 50 pages this morning, and then I took a break because I had a few things I needed to do during the day. But then the last hour I decided to start tackling this book, and oh my gosh, I love this book so much so far. I really like Juliet and Adam. I really don't like Warner. Like, I really hate him in this book, but obviously everyone says they love him so much, so hopefully he has like a redemption arc. But Juliet has now found out that Warner can actually touch her. So Adam, when he touches her, he's fine, but because if she has that power that whoever touches her like dies, because she can like burn them or something like that, she thought that she can never like hold anyone or touch them. But when she was escaping, Warner touched her and nothing happened to him, so she's thinking, oh my gosh, imagine he's also is immune to her. So they finally escape now. He said that he's taken her to his house, and I just got to chapter 30. Deciding to leave it for the evening because it is nearly 12 o'clock and I need to go to sleep. I've got a jab tomorrow and I need to be prepared for that, but I am way past halfway now, so I think I'm probably going to be able to finish the last section tomorrow morning. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I am back now. I have officially finished Shatter Me. Where do I even start? This book right here was so good. I really enjoyed it. It was so refreshing reading a fantasy book for such a long time, because I haven't read a fantasy book in like years. I wouldn't like it because I do love romance, but I did love the storyline and I love the premises of this book and the series. I really love Juliet. Like, her character is just so wholesome, and what I got to the bit where she ended up at this new like group of people, I don't even know what to call it, and she finds out there's other people like her who have other gifts too, so that made her not feel alone. And then like how it ends with her saying, I've made the right choice and I'm fighting for the right team. I feel safe, confident, excited even, because this time I'm ready. It just ends with her being really comfortable in her skin, whereas obviously throughout the book she's really doubted herself. And what I love about this book, it felt like a movie. It didn't feel like I was reading a book, it felt like it was a movie. Like, they should make this into a movie, because it really felt like I was watching movies like Divergent or something like that. But it was so good. I love Adam and Juliet's relationship so far. I really don't like Warner. I'm happy that they managed to escape from him, but obviously I'm interested to know like how they kind of get together, because obviously at the moment he's kind of the enemy, so it's going to be really interesting to see how she actually speaks to him and like how they get together, because obviously at the moment she is with Adam. All in all, in terms of ratings, I probably would give this book a 4 stars, just because I don't think it hit any of like my certain emotions. Like, there were sad bits in there, like I felt sorry for how she was treated, but it's nothing that I could really relate to. It wasn't really anything specific compared to certain books. There's specific instances where like the member, whereas in other books there's specific instances of where she's like bullied or like feel uncomfortable. And I hate you, like with Happy Place, the way they were speaking, like it was really making me cry. With this book, I didn't feel that emotive thing with the character. I definitely felt some type of connection with her, but I think because it's a fantasy book, you don't really relate to the characters as much as if it's like just a romance book, because they're a lot more realistic in my eyes. But all in all, it is still a really great book, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. So now that we have finished with Shatter Me, so the next book I will be reading is Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This one, as I said, has been on my TBR for quite a bit of a while, and I've seen it on TikTok constantly. They both have an addiction. She has an addiction to sex, he has an addiction to alcohol. They're best friends and they're pretending they're in a relationship, but I feel like they start to get feelings and stuff like that. So I'm excited to read that. It's fake dating, best friends to lovers. Interesting to see how these authors talk about addiction. So let's crack on with it. Guys, so it is the next day. So in terms of Addicted to You, I only got to like page 87. So far obviously I've met Lily and Lauren and I've kind of understand their addictions and their dynamics, but you can already tell that there's already feelings like brewing. There were some spicy scenes as well that was happening between them two, and I was just like, okay. It's really good so far. Obviously they're introducing other characters into it. I'm guessing that's strangers. Obviously Lauren brought home a girl and she's had her over for like 2 days. Oh, Lily's getting a bit jealous of that. I'm excited to see how that goes. I am really enjoying it already. Romance is my comfort like genre to read, so I am enjoying it a little bit more than Shatter Me, but obviously I still have a long way to go. My opinions can change, But I've already highlighted a few things in here about the book. I love to do that, especially when I read romance books, because I feel like some of the stuff they say is actually just quite important, especially when Lily's talking about addiction and stuff like that. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, she's like, he stifles his judgment and I withhold mine, but our silence draws tension between us inescapable. It pulls us so torn that sometimes I just want to scream, but I keep it inside. I hold back. Every comment that undercuts our addictions fractures the system in place. So I feel like that's the bit about, because they have this relationship and they're both trying to hide addictions, they both want to say stuff to each other but they can't. It's a fake relationship, so keeping it strictly platonic is what's keeping it okay, even though they do love each other. And sometimes I think the reason why they're both scared to admit that to each other is the fact that they have those addictions, and because they're so attached to their addictions, they don't want to put someone else first. They're better to just wallow in their addiction and just feel sorry for themselves. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, so I'm hoping to continue reading at least a little bit. I went to my local shopping centre and I walked past Waterstones. My aunt was trying not to get me to go in there because every time I see a Waterstones or a work something, I'm so tempted to buy books. So I went in there not expecting to find anything, and then right there staring at me was The Fourth Ring. Like, I've been waiting to read this book for such a long time. I've seen it on my For You page constantly. This is another book that TikTok's been raving about constantly, and I can't wait to read it. It's such a thick book though, but they only had the hardback, but I'm not really mad about that. And I just love the details of it. It's just super cute. And this one's by Rebecca Yarros, and it's about like dragons, but it just says here, brutal games, grumpy dragons, sizzling sexual tension. It says graduate or die, so it's kind of quite cute. Everyone said this is a bit like How to Train Your Dragon, but obviously a bit more steamier. But yeah, this is the book that I picked up. The cover is so cute, and hopefully I'll have time to read this eventually, because my TBR is extremely high at the moment. But that book, everyone said, is such a good fantasy book as well, so I'm really excited to read that one. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can at least get to halfway of this book in the next like hour. I don't know, I'll see. But I'll see you guys later, where I will update you guys on what I'm feeling in terms of the book. Morning guys, so again it is a new day and I got some good news. I managed to finish Addicted to You all in one night. So obviously I started it not yesterday, the day before, and I only read like 84 pages, and then yesterday I read quite a few pages because I read in the morning and then I read when I was in the car. I got about halfway, and then when I came home I finished the other half of the book, and it is time now to give my review. So the overall thing, I really enjoyed this book. There were a few times I did get a bit bored of it because I feel like the book was too long in the middle, especially because they were going through the same like routine of Lily having sex and wanting sex from Lauren, and Lauren drinking, and that's what it was. But obviously you had new characters like Reich and Connor. I really loved them. I really like Connor and Rose's relationship, and I hope that the other books centre on them. I don't know, but yeah, I really did enjoy this book. I wouldn't say it's my favourite book. It did get a bit boring for me. It was repetitive in terms of talking about their addiction, but there were some very important points that were talking about, and I don't feel like this book delved too much into these characters and why they drink and why they have sex and stuff like that. So that's what like made it less, I don't know, this is what made it harder for me to like empathise with the characters and build that connection compared to other books. This is the first book in the series, and everyone said it does get better, so I feel like this is just more of an introduction to Lily and Lauren rather than speaking about like why they're addicted, like them trying to get help. The end alone was just so good. I feel like it really picked up towards the last few chapters of the book, and that kind of like swayed my decision a bit in terms of my review and what I would give it. Really excited to see what happens next. Obviously it ended with Lauren going to rehab to get help, and then realising that the only way they can get better is by doing it separately, that they can't get better together because they both enable each other. So it was just really refreshing. I know it was really sad, and I did get a bit emotional when they were talking about them leaving. And also I'm quite proud of Lily, how she realised that she was going overboard in terms of her addiction, like she was actually getting really addicted, because obviously throughout the whole thing it's focusing more on Lauren and his alcohol, and obviously she's getting sex from him, but you could tell how it was really affecting her in a relationship, especially when they were going to Rose's fashion show, I believe, and she had to leave. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable story. I really liked Wright and finding out that he was Lauren's brother. I kind of had like a little feeling that that was the case. Wright is just such a nice person. In the beginning I kept thinking it was annoying because like, why are you bothering in other people's business? Like, it's not your business, and they what they do, you can't help them, you should just like live your life. But I could understand why he wanted to help and like why he did care, experiencing it himself, and then obviously getting to know Lauren and knowing that he's his brother. Obviously I think he already knew that Lauren was his brother before he even met him, so that was quite interesting as well. So that's kind of why you understand why he was helping. But I'm just happy that they both decided that it was time for them to get help. And Rose, hopefully she has her own book, because her and Connor are actually quite cute. Obviously with them, I thought they just got into a relationship quite quickly, so I'm hoping that their book, if they do have a book, that it kind of builds into their relationship, rather than it just being that, oh, they're kind of like enemies because they do like tournaments against each other, but then all of a sudden he asks her out and he likes her, because he says he only likes girls that he can have an intellectual conversation with. I would love to hear a lot more about them and see how their relationship blossoms. And then also really would love to find out what happens between Lauren and Lily. I don't think this book was my favourite book, and I don't think they're my favourite book couple at the moment, so don't hate on me. I know that a lot of people do love this book and the series, but obviously this is only the first book that I'm reading from this series. So all in all, in terms of my ratings, I'll probably give this book a 3 to 3.5. I'm leaning more to 3.5 just because of the ending, but if I was talking about the overall book, I'd probably give it 3 stars, just because it wasn't my favourite book. I feel like 4 stars I give it to books that I actually really enjoy, but like there's like minor things that I don't like about it, and then 5 stars books that hit every single emotion. So I don't think that really hit that for me, but I'm hoping some of the other books are a lot better. I really enjoy it, so even though I did give it 3 stars, I don't give 3 stars to books I don't enjoy. Like, if I don't enjoy it, I'll probably give it a 1 or 2 star, but I did enjoy the story. I understand what the writers were getting at, but I feel like this book is really just an introduction rather than like everything, because there's some books it's just like you have one book for one couple and it just goes through everything. But I don't feel like that book did that. I feel like it's just an introduction. Obviously their story hasn't ended yet, but I just want to know what happens, because I do feel like they are a good relationship. I don't think they're as much in a toxic relationship, but I don't feel like they're ready for each other just yet, and that they both need to get help with their addictions before they can be together. So I don't think they're toxic for each other, apart from them enabling each other's addictions, but you could tell deep down inside that they didn't want each other to be addicted to what they were, and they did want the best for each other. And hopefully the other books change my impression. What I've heard, I think it says that the Addicted series is like 5-6 books, and some of them focus, there's a Calloway sisters bit like in between. So obviously it's Lauren and Lily's story, but it's like every other book, and then every other book in between that is like a story of different sisters. But I don't think Poppy has one. I think Rose has. What was the other sister's name? And I did enjoy it. If in the comments down below, let me know if you've read this book and if you enjoyed it. If you disagree with my ratings, let me know, or if you agreed with it, tell me also why. But yeah, 2 books down, 2 more to go. The next book that we will be reading, I'm quite excited for this one, is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I've been waiting to read this book for such a long time. This is one book that's been on my anticipated reads. I only got my hand on it like a few months, like a month or half ago, but I'm so excited to read it. This again is another fantasy book. This one features Fair, who gets like captured or something like that, and she starts to have feelings for the guy that captured her. I'm excited to read this one. The cover's so cute. It's part of like 4 other books. They're all different colours. The only thing I'm a bit confused about, because everyone talks about this guy called Rise, whatever his name is, and Fair, but all of a sudden for some reason it's saying Tamlin and Fair, so I don't really know. But I'm holding on to the fact that this has romance as a subplot. Really excited to read this book. This has been on TikTok constantly. That's all I see. And then also one of my favourite booktubers called Destiny. If she sees this, hi. I absolutely love her channel so much. She raves about A Court of Thorns and Roses so much, the whole series. So I really wanted to check it out and see if it's worth the hype. Really excited to read this. I have such high expectations for it, so I hope it doesn't let me down. So I hope you guys enjoy it and look forward to my review. So let's start reading.
The sky falls from heaven above. I know I had the best time.
So guys, I am back. It again is the next morning. So in terms of A Court of Thorns and Roses, I managed to get to chapter 17. Yesterday I read about 15 chapters, and then this morning I read like 2 chapters. But all I would say right now is that I'm like this much through, so I'm not even halfway yet. It is quite a like in-depth book, like the wording is very small, so I feel like it's going to take me a while to get through it, but my plan is to get at least halfway today, if not three quarters through. But this is actually really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like reading fantasy is just so refreshing for me, especially because I just read romance all the time, so reading a fantasy is really refreshing. Even though it doesn't have much like romance at the moment, I'm excited for when it does come up to those bits, and you can kind of see how like the dynamics are working between Faye and Tamlin, and also Lucien. I kind of get some more vibes between Lucien and Faye, but I don't know. It's very mysterious still. Nothing really much has happened still. Obviously Faye tried to escape, but obviously we haven't met Rise yet. Ryzen, whatever his name is, who I think is her actual like love interest. But I'm excited to see that. I've been seeing so many, not spoilers, but I've been seeing so many animations about Faye and Rylan all over TikTok. I'm kind of trying to avoid all the spoilers, but from what I've seen of them, they look really cute together. So hopefully I can get a lot of this reading done. Today's gonna be a nice cozy Sunday. By the way, it is Sunday, so I started filming, I think on Tuesday I started filming. No, I think I started filming on Wednesday or Thursday, so it has been like a good 4 or 5 days, but I have gone through quite a few books. Obviously we read Addicted to You and Shatter Me, so let me stop talking, let me start reading, because that's what you guys care about, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hi guys, so I decided to give you guys a little update. So I have officially reached like just over halfway of this book, and let me tell you this, I love this book so much. Like I really enjoyed it. I love Tamlin and Faye's relationship. I know I haven't really seen much about Ray's because he's obviously been introduced now. When they introduced him I was like, oh, quite cool. But then obviously they introduced him again when he came to visit Tamlin and stuff like that, and obviously he doesn't seem like a nice person at the moment. Yeah, that is where I am at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. What I like about this book and like fantasy books, I feel like it transforms me into like a brand new world. Like I can imagine what these people look like, the scenery when they're setting it out, and just really cool. It very much gives me like Shadowhunters vibes in my eyes, and obviously the difference is that Faye's not really a Shadowhunter, she's obviously a human, but it was just really cool to see how this world is like formed, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really like finding it really refreshing. I have pretty much a good idea of what I'm going to rate this book, but obviously I still have a bit to go through, so I don't want to solidify that rating just yet. But just know I am really enjoying it, and I just wanted to give a little update of what I think about the characters, and I can't wait to finish the book to give you guys my full review. I'm going to read some more later on, and then I'll get back to you hopefully probably tomorrow, where I'll do a full review on what I think of the book. So I'll see you guys then. Hi guys, so I have officially finished A Court of Thorns and Roses. I finished it all yesterday actually, because I was so like intrigued, because it really built up towards the end. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. Faye, I love her so much. She's just such a good character. Like, she's just such a wholesome character. And the fact that she did all that for Tamlin. And then also we obviously met Rysland and saw like his pattern. Obviously she made a deal with him that she will spend a day or week every month with him. I think it's a day every month, or maybe it's a week every month with him, to save Tamlin, for him to like keep her safe. And that's what she did, and she solved the riddle, so she got Tamlin back. And in doing that, obviously the High Queen, the evil one, she got killed by Tamlin, because obviously she helped them get their powers back, because obviously they all had lost some of their power because the High Queen took it, for them to like pledge their allegiance towards her. So it was great seeing the fact that everyone got their powers back, and then obviously Tamlin killed her. So, but in that I think Faye died, but she came back as a High Fair, so now she's one of them. She's no longer human, so I'm so excited to see how her journey continues. It very much gives me like Twilight vibes, when Bella turns into a vampire after she gives birth, because that's the only way to save her. So that's like really interesting, and I really want to see how she lives and what her powers are, because obviously they all have different powers. I wonder what her powers are. So for this book, I definitely think it's not a 4 stars, but I don't think it's a 5 stars either, just for me personally. I think the other books might be 5 stars if I get into them. I feel like the first book is just more of an intro, especially if it's part of a series. So with that being said, I am going to rate A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas a 4.5. I gave it 4.5 because I really enjoyed it. The characters were so wholesome. 3 books down, 1 to go. So the last book we will be reading, again, is another kind of romance but slash drama kind of thing. So the book that I've chosen, that I've seen all over TikTok constantly, is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have Malibu Rising by her too. I was reading this in another video, my reading with me, so if you haven't watched that, go and watch that. But I hadn't continued it because I was finding it quite boring. I don't know if I'm going to actually read it. But 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I've heard this book so much. Like, it is everywhere. Everyone speaks about it. And people have quite mixed reviews surrounding the book. I don't know what happens in this book, so I'm really excited to find out what happens. I'm not going to lie, I don't know if I have high hopes for this book or not. I don't know, something about me doesn't have high hopes for it, but I'm going to stick to it. Probably it might change my mind, and it has been over TikTok, so it is definitely a popular TikTok book. So let's start reading this book. I am super excited. Guys, I am finally back. So it has actually been a while since I last recorded. I obviously said I was starting The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and that was on Tuesday. The book was amazing. In the beginning, I really didn't want to read it. I think I was really procrastinating reading this book because I really enjoyed the other books and I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it. I don't know why. Something about it was making me put it off. But oh my gosh, this book is amazing. So obviously it features Evelyn, who is this glamorous like actress throughout like the 70s, 80s, whatever. And she finally wants to tell her story about her 7 husbands. Her first husband was kind of helping her get out of that kind of scenario. And then obviously there's Mick River, who's part of the Malibu Rising because it's his children. And then there's all her other husbands. There's Harry, who's her best friend throughout the kind of thing. And then we also meet Cecilia, who is another actress who Evelyn was working with Little Women, and you kind of find out that they actually fell in love. So Evelyn was bisexual, but it wasn't just that she was bisexual or something like that. It showed the difficulties with like that type of label, because with Cecile, she was like, oh, you're too straight, if you're going out with these men, you want these men, but you want me. Like, she kind of didn't understand her liking men and women. And Evan was like to Monique, like, don't label me, because even Monique was getting confused. She was like, oh, so you're a lesbian then? She's like, I never said that I was a lesbian, I just said that I fell in love with Cecile. So it is really, really interesting. Like, the whole time I was reading, I was so hooked. I'm so shocked. Like, I wasn't expecting it at all. But yeah, if you haven't read this book, go read it. So in terms of my rating for this book, if you guys can't guess, I would give this book a 5 stars. As you guys can see, it made me cry, it made me laugh. I was shocked throughout the whole thing. My attention span, a bit like A Court of Thorns and Roses, like, I was attached. But this book, like, I'm not gonna lie, there was tears. I wish I got it on camera, but I just was so invested in it, I didn't want to film anything. But that is my review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. In terms of my thing at the end, I'm just going to summarise by saying if I think these books are worth it on Book Talk and the rave about them. So 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, yes, absolutely yes. Court of Thorns and Roses, yes. Definitely think that the other books might be better. Hopefully it is, because this book has definitely given me high expectations for the other book. But it's a great beginning into fantasy, and if you really want to get into fantasy, I definitely recommend reading it. And the romances, to you, yes, but also no. Maybe the other books are better, but I recommend this series, but maybe not necessarily the book as much as the others. But I feel like a yes and a no, depends on what your cup of tea is. And then Shatter Me, yes, absolutely yes. But yeah, if you guys want a part 2 where I read some of the more newer popular books on TikTok, let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really did. It was so exciting and interesting to film, and I don't feel like I'm in a book slump. I've still read loads of books during this week as well, so I'm excited for my wrap up. I haven't read many on my TBR for this month, but I read a lot of other books on my Kindle, so it has been a really good reading month, and I don't feel like I'm in a slump. I feel like I'm really enjoying reading at the moment. If you're new to this channel, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and you subscribe for more content if you'd like. Follow my other socials. I have my Instagram, my TikTok, all in the description. And I love you guys. We are on our journey to 500 subscribers now. I think I'm on 126 at the moment. When this video probably comes out, it might be a bit more. But I just love all of you guys. I'm grateful. I am really enjoying my YouTube journey. And now that I'm finished university, I just have a lot more time on my hands. But I'm going to stop talking now. I love all of you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Everything goes white. I can feel the breeze. Euphoric delight. Only